Hey, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Machak Badash. I want to give double honors to our apostles, who are elders who rule well. I want to say blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. I just wanted to do this lesson, you know what I'm saying? It's based off the notion of the Irish slave trade or the Irish slave trade myth. I seen someone, a lot of Edomites like to make the comment that, hey, whites were in slavery too. But the thing is that they were indentured servants. There's a difference between being a slave and indentured servant. I'm going to look up the term indentured. Indentured servant. So indentured servant is an indentured servant or indentured labor is an employee with a system of unfree labor who is bound by a signed forced contract to work without pay for the owner of the indenture for a period of time. And this is not a signed forced contract. This is a contract that you sign and you're forced to work for free. So basically what happened was, within clarity, because Esau say we were enslaved to slavery too, but they're not going to tell you they were indentured slaves. That means they agreed to be slaves. Yeah. That is a major difference. All right? And you were a slave, but you agreed to being a slave, and you worked for a period of time, and for that period of time, you were let go. And an example of an indentured slave is Israel. Okay, so we can get that biblically to show that's not slavery. You know what I'm saying? That's not the slavery that you're implying. And Esau and just Jake in general, but in this situation, Esau is trying to imply something different or insinuate. So I want to go to this etymology.com while the brother get that verse of I'm gonna get imply and also insinuate, because there's people that like to imply things and they also like to insinuate things, you know what I'm saying, without really give a straight, let it come straight, you know what I'm saying. So the verb for imply means to unfold, enwrap, entangle, involve, enfold, entangle, assimilate, form into, to fold. So basically, it's like, it's not straight cut dry. This is what it is. All right. You're basically just like a snake, just kind of going around different questions and things like that. And celebrities are really good at implying. You know what I'm saying? So look up this word, insinuate. And this one also means to cover and subtly introduce into the mind or heart, to thrust, push, make away, intrude, bring in by windings and curvings, win one's way into, to win, bend, curve. So they're trying to covertly and subtly introduce into the mind that Esau basically, they're saying, look, we went through the same thing you went through, shut up. That's what they're insinuating. But the reality is that no, you didn't go through hardcore slavery. You know what I'm saying? You're just saying, when you say, oh, we went through slavery too, if somebody's listening and be like, oh, but why are you complaining? No, it's like, no, dude, you signed up for this. You know what I'm saying? That's like you wake up in the morning and you end up at somebody's job and they hand you your uniform and say you work here, and you be like, for what? You're like, shut up and work. Compared to you walking up and they say, hey, look, you're gonna work for free for seven years or these many hours, and then you're gonna do this for a month, and then you are free to go. It's like work release. You know what I'm saying? You signed up like, yo, okay, I signed up for work release. I get out of jail. I can work for y'all for pennies on a dollar or cheap. And then if I do this, I go. Compared to somebody being forced into that. All right? Of course, you would take the option of getting $1 million job. Who wouldn't? But that was your option because they're also insinuating, yeah. So you're technically forced, and Esau is cunning with his words. Okay, so you got it.
This is Genesis 29:15. It says, "And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter."
So that was he served him for 7 years for the daughter. Now you can say that's the payout. That wasn't the payout technically because he's working for him for 7 years. All right. When basically, if I'm sitting there and I flip 1,000 patties, and then for 7 years for free, that's worth me way more. I'm working right now, and I'm not getting paid for that job. All right. Now that was just an agreement. He signed up. He was an indentured slave. And the scriptures tell you about also being if you put an awe in your ear, basically you're agreeing that you want to be with your master. He's treating you right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you might feel like you can't live on your own because a lot of these Irish were living in real harsh conditions over in their land. It was like, well, y'all going over to this new country, this free country. Well, I'll come over there. Well, if you want this ride, nigga, you got to work. You know what I'm saying? So technically they paid for the ride by being an indentured slave. You know what I'm saying? So technically they got paid. If you really want to get technical about it, no, they signed up for hardcore bondage and they had a release date. Where Jake didn't have no release date. It wasn't no release given. Somebody else had to give it.
Yeah.
It's either you worked and then you got another skill and then you kind of found something to buy your way out. And that's if they wanted to let you go.
You had to run away.
Yeah, you had to run away,
This is verse 19. It says, and Laban said, it is better. Salaki, he said, verse 18, and Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
So he ended up, long story short, he ended up serving a total of 21 years. He did it for both of the daughters and he did it for the cattle. You know what I'm saying? So that's a long time to be working for free. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like he was working for free. He had to find food. He had to find this. No, he was living on his stable. He was living and eating the same food that they were eating and doing the things that they were eating. I mean, doing things that they were doing. Okay?
Yeah, like he told him, you bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So they had the same ethics or morals, I would say, as far as the laws, pretty much. They knew how to take care of each other, being that they were serving
Yep. So that's all I wanted to get. I just want to get that point. So, and this is I just because when someone's talking to me, the spirit just like what, they say basically people talk a lot of. I was talking to Edomite at work basically. We're not at work. We're just in an environment to where you had to put on a Clark Kent suit, and he was just like yeah. A lot of people complain about slavery, and people often forget that the Irish were slaves. And I was like, yeah, for real. And the spirit was just like, I was playing along, but I'm like, my mom like, man, nigga, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But the spirit was like, yo, look that up, and check it out. Just like give it a hear and see what he's saying. So I did not look up Irish slave myth. I looked up Irish slavery. And the first thing that popped up was Irish slave myth. Of course, Google is funneled a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But it's still legit information. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see right here, they got many, it's backwards and it's on Wikipedia. Wikipedia can be messed with, but anything can be messed with. Textbooks or whatever. So that doesn't discredit anything. Just niggas just like to discredit it. I use that to discredit things when it's time. I didn't pass tests using Google. You know what I'm saying? And say, oh, what's the answer to this? And put it in there and pass the test. All right? That's why they tell us to put our phones away. All right? Because there's answers on the internet. So it says this article is about the conflation of Irish indentured servitude and African chattel slavery. For the general history of Irish indentured servants, see Irish indentured servants. You know, it's something I didn't get around to reading. You know, I was like, man, I want to build this up and make it an elaborate lesson, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go into it and call it but up. So here we are. So again, if the spirit hit me to read that, I'm gonna read that later also. It says, for the history of chattel slavery in Ireland and see slavery in Ireland. All right. For Irish taken as slaves, see Barbary slave trade. All right. Mural of Frederick Douglass, Falls Road, Belfast. Irish people's history has embraced both a legacy of identification with the oppressed and propagation of the Irish slaves' myths, elements of racism. So now this leads me to want to get the scripture where the Lord said you will go into a land and you basically will do what? You'll lose your heritage. You know what I'm saying? When Conor McGregor fights and he wins, what kind of flag he holds up? You know what I'm saying? If there were slaves and the slave was so bad, why are they still able to hold up a flag? Why your name still goes McGregor, O'Donnell, and all this, O'Malley, and you can trace your roots back to here. You know, Jake in America, you got Douglas and McGee's and foot soldiers or Porter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you go, and when you get to a point, you hit a roadblock because you end up going back to a slave master's last name, man. All right?
Which one exactly you want, bro?
We shall lose our heritage. We can discontinue for our heritage. And then also, we shall not know our names and things like that. There's two of them.
I know it's Jeremiah's. I'm sorry.
We got one of Hosea, don't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Which one you want first?
We get both.
Okay.
Get both.
This is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. It says, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Yeah, for another reason, another major point is that your enemy can't, where it can be itself, but the people you signed up to be indentured slave to wasn't your enemy. So you were treated a certain way. You know what I'm saying? These people mostly taskmasters or different things of that nature, man. Working for free too. They didn't like it, but I'm pretty sure they didn't want to be no nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure. I'm quite sure they wouldn't have traded places like, man, y'all got it good. All right? So they ain't never been the case. Ain't nobody ever in Edomite or Irish history said I wish our slavery was like nigga slavery.
Nigga slavery.
God.
Yeah. This is Hosea chapter 1 verse 9. It says, then said the Most High, call his name lo I me, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power.
Yeah, because we're African Americans. We're not African, nor are we American. Negroes, Afro Americans. We're called everything under heaven but an Israelite. You all right? Everybody won't say, oh, I'm Jewish. 12 tribes of Judah. Niggas don't even know how to say it right when they convert. Because they don't know nothing. They don't know, are you Manasseh, are you Reuben, or you Gad, or you Zebulun, Naphtali. Everybody, all this Judah, which salute to Judah, yeah, but that's not the end-all be-all of Israel. The reason why it's a term, because Judah is the head tribe.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? But you just skip over the reality of the fact that there's really 11 other tribes You know what I'm saying? But you can technically say about 9 or 10. You know what I'm saying? The 10 is the southern kingdom. You know, you got Benjamin, Judah, and Levi will basically cover Judah. Okay? But again, you still wouldn't trade Irish slavery for nigger slavery. Nobody would want that. All right?
I just want to grab this right quick.
You get Slacker. You got beers. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got whiskeys. Anything going back to our slavery. Anything Jack Daniels is technically ours.
Yeah.
But it was taken. Anything that was ours that goes into Deuteronomy, it was taken. You're not under a curse like we're under a curse. So don't try to play on us like that. Basically, you know what I'm saying?
Where you don't see no Irish Roots series out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 12 years of Irish slaves. You don't see them making movies about Irish slavery. You know what I'm saying?
They do. It's not that popular because it's not as impactful to the world as what happened. Yeah, you got movies about the Holocaust because it was so called horrendous, and that's what they want to promote. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the same. And the crazy thing is, it happened at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You were here with us. So how could you go through the same? Basically, you go through the same tunnel, and I come out more beat up than you. And then he's like, I went through the tunnel too, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was whooping my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you was pushing me to the ass whooping.
Yeah.
I got hit too because they were trying to hit me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they insinuate because we both walked through this tunnel at the same time and came out. That since we walked through this tunnel, we got our ass whooped the same way because there were people in there whooping people's ass in the tunnel. I walked through a tunnel where people got their ass whooped, and I came out just like you. You know what I'm saying? They're basically saying, I went through slavery the same time you went through slavery, just like you. No, but you didn't get your ass beat like we got our ass beat during slavery. You did not. But if you left all those details out, being thrown over the boats, getting your foot chopped off, being raped, men and women, families being sold to over here to over there. Your family didn't get separated. You know what I'm saying? Then when you got free, you got your opportunity to get a strike at the land.
And the main thing, it wasn't agreed.
Yeah, it wasn't agreed. The whole time we didn't want to be over here. We was stolen. Nigga was asleep, woke up on a boat. You know what I'm saying? That's like, hold up. All right? You was at the top. You was on the top of the ship. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of Jake was down there. You might have been at the bottom. But you signed up for this. You signed the contract. So, I'm going to continue. It says, the Irish slave trade is a myth. The Irish slave myth is a pseudo-history that falsely conflates the penal transportation and indentured servitude of Irish people. During the 17th and 18th centuries, with the hereditary chattel slavery experience of Africans. All right? Look up this word, chattel slavery. When you look up the word chattel slavery via Wikipedia, it's like it kind of threw me. Slavery, let's see here. I'm going to have to go back because it took me somewhere and it took me back somewhere else. So I'm going to go to chattel slavery. Chattel slavery is also called traditional slavery. It's so named because people are treated as the chattel, personal property of the owner, and are bought and sold as commodities. Typically, under the chattel slave system, children inherited slave status via the mother, partus sequitur ventrum. Although it dominated many different societies through human history, this form of slavery has been formally abolished as very rare today, even when it can be said to survive. It is not upheld by the legal system of any internationally recognized government. You know, it's basically your ownership, your property. You know, now the thing about slavery, modern day slavery, is you're an indentured servant to Esau, but you're just not working for free. You are, because you're working to maintain your life. Because when you were a slave in Esau's on a plantation, they fed you, they clothed you, they housed you. Now they give you so-called freedom to where you get paid enough to feed and clothe and house yourself. And if you save your money right, maybe you can buy a top hat or a belt or something like that, and then you start buying shit and you start getting your get up a little up, you know what I'm saying? And then once you become a better slave, you know what I'm saying, you can either buy more shit, you know, that's all it is. Maybe you can buy you some slaves, you know? That's all. You're still signing a contract that you don't want. Nobody wanted, oh, Mickey D's fucking right. Sign me up. I was like, I need money. You know what I'm saying? Nobody at work like I love it here, unless you working at the job Esau allowed you to have. Some white nationalists and others who want to minimize the effects of hereditary chattel slavery on Africans and their descendants have used this false equivalence to promote racism against African Americans, or claim that African Americans are too vocal in seeking justice. The Irish slave myth has also been invoked by some Irish activists to highlight the British oppression of the Irish people and to suppress the history of Irish involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. You see, it says this myth has been in circulation since at least the 1990s and has been disseminated in online memes and social media debates in 2016. Academics and Irish historians wrote to condemn the myth. So it's like you're trying to suppress and quench the impact of what Esau did to Israel, man. You can fool the people, but you can't fool the Most High. You know what the fuck you did. So you can't use Black Lives Matter or no, real not Black Lives Matter. The LGBT community say, oh, the gays are going through what the blacks are going through. We're the new slaves of the black people. No, that is a totally different level of slavery. And I had this long conversation with somebody about it. Yeah, wrong is wrong. No, there's two different types of wrong. People go to jail for a lot of shit. But you go to jail for raping a fucking 2-year-old is different from not paying your taxes, G. Wrong ain't wrong all the fucking time. There's different levels of wrong, and wrong is way more impactful. And I guarantee you, I watch a lot of shit on Netflix, and know niggas that been through some systems, they pull paperwork. You know what I'm saying? They want to see what kind of wrong you did. They don't come in, oh, you in jail. Well, you clearly was wrong about something, so I ain't worried about what you came in for. Oh, you a snitch. Oh, it's over with for you. Why? Oh boy, he, you know, oh, you're a pedophile. Oh, it's over with for you. Every wrong ain't no wrong that you basically trying to insinuate to tell that person shut the fuck up, or let that person have a moment, or, you know, trying to justify. You know what I'm saying? Or imply you're trying to bend in the fold and make everything look the same, and try to hide certain details. And Jake fall for that shit when they try to, every Black History Month, you always tell us how I want to hear how great and powerful we were. Why? Remind me about how y'all used to fuck me up. Because you know what that's going to do? That's going to make me look at you stupid. Yeah. Because you still look at me how you feel. You look at me like a slave.
Yes, sir.
So I need to be reminded about how you look at me. I don't mind that. Yeah, you niggas are enemies, man.
Say considered 3/5 of man?
Yeah. No. That was a scientific, that's a good point. It's a scientific thing that you weren't even human to even have what the little boy said on Django, you see back here, you got the bigger part of this part is enlarged, and it makes you a natural born servant. But if you're an Edomite, you're Irish, they're like, well, you don't got that. You just, you know, I can't make you do. They really scientifically thought, you know, through Darwinism, basically, that we were slaves. We weren't human. They never went through that. They never went through losing. You can go back to Ireland. I'm going back to Ireland. Ireland is, Africa's not our place, man. So where do we go? All right? You're sitting in our land. The land of Israel, the Middle East. All right? And the Lord eventually is going to destroy that land. And to cleanse it and rebuild for us, man. I want to get the origins and propagation, and then we'll just shut it down from there. It says the myth is especially popular with apologists for the Confederate States of America, the sensationalist slave states of the South during the American Civil War. According to research librarian and independent scholar Liam Hogan, the most influential book to assert the myth was They Were White and They Were Slaves, the untold story of the enslavement of whites in early America, self-published in the U.S. in 1993. Was a book, it gotta be true. You know what I'm saying? That's that. No, they writing books to solidify what they're trying to insinuate, to make it a reality.
Yeah.
It says self-published in the U.S. in 1993 by conspiracy theorist and Holocaust denier Michael A. Hoffman II, who blamed Jews for the African slave trade. This was followed in Ireland in 2000 by the book To Hell or Barbados, The Ethnic Cleansing of Ireland by the journalist Sean O'Callaghan, which is an Irish last name. The book continued Hoffman's theme and introduced the concept of Irish women being forcibly bred with African men in order to produce mulattoes who are represented as being more valuable than slaves of purely Irish ancestry. It is not made clear why this is the case or why it was possible to achieve the same result with the physical union of European men and African women. That's crazy because the thing that came up in my mind was the Moors, how the Moors infiltrated. They said, well, why didn't you just take a Irish man and breed them with an African woman? You know what I'm saying? Because they knew where that seed was, man. You know what I'm saying? So they made the men, the men really, the Moors dealt with the women. They pumped that in, so that could be. I don't know the full facts on it. I would prefer to get the. I want to get the book and read and see what time frame it was and things like that. But the Moors did that, and if Esau so-called did it, why? Of course, yeah. If it's just all about breeding with the physical and getting the most rich of the physical, why don't you get the sister of this big ass nigga and have her fuck with this Irish dude and have a baby? You don't even gotta do nothing. It's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Why are you taking your women and getting let? You know what I'm saying? That don't make any sense. Because if you did do that, then that shows that you believe that the seed carries the gene. You know what I'm saying? But I think it was a Morris. You know what I'm saying? My personal opinion. But I get the facts, and Lord will bring it up. So basically, these Edomites are publishing books and going into all these copyrights and so-called disinformations to create a narrative. So when we say, "Oh no, that ain't true," it's like, "Well, read this and they'll tell you." Nah, you wrote the fucking book. You wrote the book to cover up your trash.
Self-published.
Yeah, self-published. If I write a book and then my best friend is a copywriter, and then I just say, here, I just make up facts, make up things and it's termed as facts. Then I give it to him and he just coin it as a fact. That's all you gotta do. So it ain't like just because you wrote it in a book that it's law.
Oh man.
So that's pretty much all I want to go over is that this Irish slave trade is bullshit, man. Our Judite slavery, Negro Latino neighbor Leo, the Negroes, Benjamin Judah Levi had the worst slavery. Shit, the Northern tribe had a worse slavery than them too, man. All right, the Gadites had a bad slavery. The natives. You know what I'm saying? The Seminoles, the Latin, with the conquistadors. The Puerto Ricans, they had to get moved to a different island. You know what I'm saying? The Tainos, because they damn near made them go extinct, man. Y'all didn't have them problems, man. And Lord's will, if we go into it and read all these books, it's gonna prove it, man. We gonna pick out you could just easily pick out the bones. That's bullshit. Yeah, that don't line up with this in history and moving. At the end of the day, y'all came over here on purpose, man. Jake didn't. Now the Southern Kingdom did. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Northern Kingdom did, but not the Southern Kingdom. And then they didn't get they came before you, but they didn't go into slavery on purpose.
Yeah, they didn't invite you over to
Yeah.
forcibly put them in
Yeah,
slavery.
why don't you come over and fuck us up, G? I mean, we need that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but Satan, man.
Man, that is retarded. It ain't even let me click.
So with that being said, we're gonna give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakwadash. We're gonna give double honors to our apostles, who our elders rule well. I want to say blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and doing truth and sincerity. Hey, shalom, Ahabatam Supply.